All right, you three-peat MTN8 champions. All right, you mighty Buccaneers. It's that time of year where I am known for rambling. I'm not known for sticking to a script this time of the year because that's what Orlando Pirates does on my part. Orlando Pirates have stuck to the script that Orlando Pirates must win each and every final that they play in. And yeah, it is Talking Buccaneers with me, Fumane. If you've not heard, third time of asking, Orlando Pirates, 3 years in a row, have won the MTN8 final. It has not been done before. Definitely no small feat. Under this head coach again, final 2022, MTN8 final 2023, and now MTN8 final 2024. Jose Rivero has won it. His team has won it. We have won it. And I hope wherever his daughters are, wherever the daughters of Jose Rivero are, I hope they're singing Iole, apparently their favorite song. And all of us are so jubilant. And yeah, it's like I said, I don't have a script. I thought I'm just going to go top of my head and say everything that kind of comes to mind, just from like raw emotion from, enjoying this final, enjoying, again, what has not been done before in this competition. Is that no club has actually won it, 3 years in a row. Orlando Pirates are the first team to do that, and that's part of what we're celebrating, as well as celebrating, of course, the win. But where I want to start with this, I want to start with, maybe sort of giving credit to Stellenbosch FC. Anyone who has watched this channel and has heard me speak about Stellenbosch FC, they will know that I have a huge crush on Stellenbosch FC, to be entirely honest. I can be entirely honest about that. I have a huge crush on Stellenbosch FC. I think they are a very charming team. I think they are obviously well-drilled, very young, very energetic, a very well-run, very good recruitment, great players, very good core group of players that play for them. I think they play quite attractive football, and yeah, I love Stellenbosch. I think if I don't know in what world, if I were not a Pirates fan, I'd probably be a Stellenbosch FC fan, just based on the way that they do stuff and the way that they play their football. I love them. And I think they've given Orlando Pirates a run for their 10 million. It was a very tight 90 minutes until the very end where Orlando Pirates maybe quite literally stole it this time. And I'll get into that. But, I thought Stellenbosch FC, they made a good account of themselves. Steve Barker, again, I think deserves credit. That team, we all know about how, each and every year, without fail, teams in the PSL, they sort of rip it apart and they take their best assets. The 1 year, you think about, people like Mtetwa left and Mendieta. And, I think the year before that, you had people like, who's the striker, the guy who plays for Kaizer Chiefs. This year they've lost people like, Dino van Rooyen has come to Orlando Pirates, and this and that player. Forgive me, my mind is just all over the place. So I don't even remember the players that I want to talk about. But we all know about how, each and every year they keep losing sort of their best players, and credit to them. They've been able to keep Jaden Adams, who I thought, again, if maybe you watch this channel, you will know how I can't stop raving about how great a player Jaden Adams is. And I thought, again, in this final, he sort of showed South Africa and maybe Africa and wherever else in any part of the world who was watching why, he's one of the best midfielders in the country. I can be entirely honest about that. I thought I thought at a point today we were watching, although I can be honest again that Talent Mbatha didn't have the greatest of games, but I thought we got to witness who I think are two of the best young midfielders in the country in Talent Mbatha and Jaden Adams. And I'm very well prepared to be butchered by some people for making that statement. But I truly believe that. I truly believe that in the Stellenbosch side, one of the two best young midfielders in the country, of course, Tebogo Mokoena is one of the best. I know, and I'm ready for some of you to say that. But I'm talking about young, sort of 23 years old, 24 years old. I think on the one side you had Jaden Adams, on the other side you had Talent Mbatha. And I think these two, and I think Hugo Broos maybe testifies to that just in the way of his selection for the national team. I think he knows that these two guys, he's got the future of that South African midfield. And I thought he made a good account for himself, Jaden Adams again. We got to see, someone like Fumane Butsaka come on. He's another one who's a special talent. I thought, he came on for someone who's done well for Stellenbosch as well in Sihlanduli in that midfield, sort of just sitting there, doing what he does, going about his business, sniffing out trouble, problems all over the pitch, putting out fires, that sort of thing, getting the ball, moving it along to Jaden Adams, who's more of the thinker for them. And again, I just think that Mujela, another one, fantastic goal, new signing for them, very bright spark. Mujela, he's just, very dangerous player. At the back, Atenkosi Mkaba, young, good defender. Torre, we all know about him. Mloisane had to do a shift at right back today. Devin Titus, we all know about his speed. De Jong, we all know about his threat, sort of holding things up for them up front. Basadine, I don't think he had the greatest of games, but he's an ever-present threat for them. Got to see a bit of Pili, but I thought he didn't have enough time to kind of impose on Orlando Pirates. But Sage Stevens, captain for them, I think he's been fantastic. So I just wanted to kind of just say that, congratulations, Stellenbosch. They will not want to hear this. No one wants number two, but I think they really do deserve credit, all the bit of credit that they can get, and I think they even deserve it from Orlando Pirates fans. And I mean, I heard, Mandla Ngikazi, who's given them flowers after that game, even before, just the way that the Orlando Pirates technical team speaks of Stellenbosch. It's all just, praise for them, because they've got something that they're building there and it's doing very well. And I think they deserve the credit. But unfortunately for them, they met the mighty Orlando Pirates, the mighty Sea Robbers. When they're in town, especially in the final, you're not gonna get anything. And I thought today, unfortunately for Stellenbosch, I can sit here and be honest in saying that, I thought that second goal, best I know, the rules of this game, I do acknowledge the fact that that free kick was taken a few yards ahead of where the foul was. Now, I hear a bit of talk about that was not a foul, and I think that's more of the contentious point, rather than the fact that the free kick was taken in the wrong position. I think that's not contentious. All of us will have seen that. I think there's a bit of contention as to whether the ball was rolling when Mofokeng takes that free kick. He obviously stops it, but it looks like it is still rolling a little bit. I can be entirely honest about that. But I think there's no contention to the fact that Torre does kick Maswanganyi. So I think there's a foul there. Now, there's another argument going around saying that the referee is talking, Abongile Tom is talking to the players. I don't think that the referee is talking to the players after watching it back. I think the players are talking to him, and he's just, he sees Pirates take the free kick quickly, and he gets going with business as usual. Now, I want to say that what I think immediately when that moment happens, I'm sort of just jammed because something seems a bit wrong already to me. I think I already sense that the free kick is not taken in the right position. But the other thought that kind of gets in my head is that, that's such a very pivotal, very big moment that I can see how, the moment can get, it can sort of just, how do you say this? It can get the better of you as the referee, where maybe you're just too nervous to stop the game and say, hey, bring the ball back. I think with the noise, with the atmosphere, with the magnitude of the occasion itself, I think maybe you can sort of be a rabbit in the light a little bit when that moment happens quickly, and then you get a bit nervous to bring things back, even though maybe you've got a feeling that something is not going right. And I think that's what happened there. That's the thought that certainly entered my mind, to think that I think the referee was just too nervous to bring it back. And unfortunately for him, and more unfortunate for Stellenbosch, that Tshegofatso Mabasa is just an amazing striker. And I feel bad that, the brilliance of his finish is just going to be rubbed away by all the talk around the fact that it was an unfair advantage by Pirates in taking the free kick in a wrongful place. I think that's going to just shadow over the fact that what a brilliant finish that was. I think what we haven't seen a lot of Tshegofatso Mabasa is take shots at goal. I think he's been very much restricted this season. He hasn't been able to snipe, as it were, what he's known for. But when he does, that's the sort of quality that his left foot and even his right foot has, is that he needs a small sight at goal, and if he can get it away and it's not blocked, the goalkeeper's not stopping it. And unfortunately for him, that brilliance of a finish is sort of clouded by all of this. But what I love is that Orlando Pirates then go on and score the third. And I mean, I want to sit here and talk about the fact that Munapule Saleng, again, like, he's another one who you kind of just get tired as someone who speaks about Orlando Pirates. You kind of get tired of sitting and talking about Munapule Saleng, because what hasn't been said, right? And yet he still keeps producing these moments. So I'm not going to talk about Saleng, who deserves everyone who's out there talking about him. I'm just not going to do it, because I feel like I'm sort of the Saleng groupie right now. I think that's what I am. I think I'm a Saleng groupie, and I'm just sort of the loudest. I think, according to me, I think I'm the loudest advocate for Munapule Saleng in the world, because I just think he's such a fantastic player. He's just such a fantastic player. So I'm not going to say anything about him, even though I just spent a minute talking about him. I'm going to leave it there. But I want to talk about the fact that I'm happy for Orlando Pirates in that we go in and score the third goal. And, it's sort of like these things are written, because guess who scored the goal? You kind of had a sense for these things. Well, to be entirely honest, is that you start to have a sense for the fact that, firstly, you have a sense for the fact that Jose Rivero is not going to start with Mofokeng. You have a sense for the fact that he's not going to start with Tshegofatso Mabasa. You have a sense that he's not going to start with Kabelo Dlamini, who are arguably part of the top sort of 5 players at Orlando Pirates at the moment. Mofokeng is arguably one of the best players at Orlando Pirates. Tshegofatso Mabasa, there could be an argument, especially based on the fact that he finishes as the top goal scorer last season, that he's one of the best players at Orlando Pirates. I think Kabelo Dlamini right now, he's sort of just staking a claim every time that he touches the ball, that he's the best player in South Africa, let alone Orlando Pirates. And then you obviously have people like Saleng and stuff like that. But you also can't argue against Jose Rivero putting those guys on the bench, especially if they're going to come on and they're going to impact the game in the few minutes that they're on there. It's like, okay, well, the head coach seems to know what he's doing. You go back to last year Nedbank Cup final, he knows what he's doing. He brings them on, they win the game. And you have a sense that's what's going to happen when Mofokeng comes on. And it happens. And he's another one, I think, Mofokeng, who, I keep seeing stuff about one for the future. I think Mofokeng's one for the now. And I love it for him, because when he scores that goal, I don't know how many people actually pick that up. He signals it with the Cristiano Ronaldo sort of arrogant, saying to everyone, I've arrived, sort of, it's my time now. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying to everyone who keeps saying that, one for the future, scrap that. Lebohile Mofokeng is not one for the future. He's definitely one for the now. I think he's, we have to relook at this thing about, the young boy, first of all, he's sitting men down in every final. Every final, people are on the floor, sort of just, trying to get a hold of him. And he's just untouchable. He's as it were, Ponyuga Bempet. You think you've got him, and really you don't. Next thing, you're on your backside, and he's scoring, in the all-important moment again, sort of last minutes of the game, he finds that back of the net. And this time, I think you just see that he's kind of growing into himself a little bit more, his ego, which I am for, by the way. I know some people are probably going to be talking about they don't want him to be arrogant and that sort of thing. And I can get why people sort of speak like that, but I am one who believes that there is no great football player in the world who's not arrogant. And I even like to say something that people might not appreciate in saying that even Lionel Messi, at his what you might call humblest moments, I think he's arrogant. I think there is no football player I think all football players, all great ones, need to have arrogance. And the arrogance is to believe you're the best. And I know people sometimes don't like that sort of thing, and maybe it's sort of the humility in us that just kind of wants to know, no, I don't want to be, I don't want to say I'm the greatest, whatever, that kind of thing. But I think football players, for them to be great, for them to be the best, they have to believe it. And I sort of see that in Lebohile Mofokeng. I think what you see with him right now is he believes he's the best. And every single time that he gets that ball sort of near the box, he just moves like he's the best. He sometimes just doesn't pass it because he thinks he can take on 4 people and score. And I think that's what makes him the best player. It's precisely that he believes in his ability so much. And I think obviously in this game, he sort of just tells everyone. And I hope there's a clip out there that's gonna, that's gonna start doing the rounds, showing Mofokeng, kind of signaling to everyone that it's my time now. For all of you who are still calling him a future prospect, I think Mofokeng has arrived now, and I love it for him. I love it for Orlando Pirates. I love it for his parents. I think maybe even credit to them. They've done a great job to, be his representatives for a time. I think right now he's with a different agency. I think I saw something sort of doing the rounds on the internet that he's with different representation. But I think his parents have done a great job. Firstly, by their genes, they've done a great job, but even sort of a step further than that in managing his career for a time. I think he looks like, I know I say he's arrogant, but he looks very grounded. And long may that continue. I love it. And maybe just sort of last few remarks before I wrap this. It was so interesting for me to see Selailo Rasebocha, and this is not one of those videos where I'm going to bash players, but I will also be honest that I got nervous with Selailo Rasebocha. He seems like he's someone who's a trier of things, and you want players to try stuff. You actually want players to try stuff. Then when I think about it, you want your midfielders to, especially even when I talk about people like Mofokeng, these are guys who try stuff in front of that box and they produce magic like he did today. And Selailo Rasebocha looks like he wants to force a pass. He wants to make a vertical line-breaking pass. And I get nervous, to be honest. I think what might happen with him is he might turn out to be the best line breaker, that we have in the team, that he will sort of make these disguised passes where he's looking the one way and he'll just break lines with a pass. Kabelo Dlamini does that sort of thing, by the way. But with Dlamini, it doesn't seem forceful. It does seem like it's very well timed. Every single time that he wants to thread a pass, he gets it right, and it just gets us like attacking. With Rasibucha, I can be entirely honest. What I kind of felt with him was it felt a bit forceful, and I thought, I wonder if someone has the stat. I don't. I'm talking sort of top of my head, what I saw with my eyes. It did feel like he tried to force a few passes and they were intercepted, maybe like one or two. And maybe the feeling for me at the time was he has to learn to be more responsible with possession in midfield. If he's going to try stuff, he better pull it off, because you don't want to be losing balls in that midfield against people like Jaden Adams and them. And Stellenbosch will pick you apart fast if you lose it in the middle of the field. And that was where I was nervous in that, one intercepted pass and we're in trouble. Nkosinathi Sibisi is another one that I was really nervous around him as well. I thought he looked a bit shaky. I don't know, you guys can maybe correct me. That's what I saw with him. I thought he was shaky. I think Sibisi is a warrior, but I think, Nda and Sesani seem to be a level above everyone else at the moment at Orlando Pirates. I think maybe it could be the fact that people like Sibisi are rusty and that kind of thing, and it's just the match fitness and stuff. But it does look like Sesani is operating just a cut above Sibisi at the moment. And I get nervous around Sibisi now. I think when Sibisi has the ball or sort of players approaching him, that kind of thing, I get nervous. And that's just the overwhelming feeling that I was feeling. I think I get nervous around the club captain. Around sort of 30-something minutes, I'm already starting to think, okay, how are we changing the game in the second half? And my first thing is, you got to get the club captain off. You've got to get Innocent Maela off, take Hoto to left back and bring on, Relebogile Mofokeng. And yeah, it's starting to feel a bit like the quality is just a cut above some players now. And look, I'm not mad at our players. I love our players. I think I love them as a group, as a collective. And I've been on this channel and have spoken about the importance of keeping a group together, even though you've got to carry some people in terms of quality with you. But you don't want to upset dynamics, and you don't want to upset, sort of chemistry in the team, in the club, in the squad. And I think some players are starting to look like we're carrying them, especially when they have to play in a cup final. It does look like we're carrying them when it comes to quality. It says two things to me. It says what I just said about some players, that maybe they're not the level anymore. But it also does say that the level of Orlando Pirates has gone up a notch. I mean, you look at the level that Mofokeng is operating in. You look at the level that Kabelo Dlamini is playing at. You look at the level in the midfield of Orlando Pirates now with Talent Mbata, where now you're even nervous to say, if Mbata's absent and we have to play, with all due respect, maybe Tim there, you wonder if, are we going to still be the same team? And that's not a dig at Miguel Tim. It's just to say how high a standard, it is right now in that midfield, how high a standard it is actually around the whole team. I mean, Munyani, great display today, I think. Obviously, he has his moments, Munyani, where you're just like, okay, it's fine, Munyani, do your thing. But I think, again, it's the bar that Dino van Rooyen now sets at right back, the bar that Dion Hoto sets at left back as well. Sipho Shahine, Mogolwana or Makehleni Makaula. These guys are just setting such a high bar, high level that, it does look like sometimes when you have Maela playing, we're carrying him. Sibisi now looks a bit out of place a little bit. When you think about Sesani and Da, you're just thinking, oh man, is Sibisi going to be good enough for us now? Even in that midfield, and credit to Makehleni Makala, he's doing a fantastic job, I think, because my go-to is Dlamini and Talent in that midfield. But I think when you call on Makehleni to do a shift for you, he does it with aplomb every single time. But all these Buccaneers do it with aplomb, and I love it for them. I love it for us. I love the fact that we are champions again. I think we now at a place where if Orlando Pirates lose a cup final, we're going to be devastated. And it's just telling of how successful a period this has been under, this head coach. What I would love, I think this is going to be great. I think what I would love for this win to do, because it can go either way, I hope it's not going to be sort of like one of those where we get hung up on the win and maybe we start to be deflated for the rest of the season, because that's what happened last year, is that we won the MTN 8 final against Mamelodi Sundowns, and then we sort of just went this way. But I hope what happens with this one is it knocks that belief into them, to say, you guys, do you realize what's going on here? We're a great bunch. I hope they all look around and they see their mates and they think this guy is someone that can get me over the line for the big shiny one, which is the PSL, the Betway Premiership. I hope that's what it does. I hope it injects that belief. It injects that second wind to say, you know what, good foundation, level points on the log. Let's go on. I hope that the taste of lifting the trophy for a few new faces, people like Nkota and, who I'm happy for, people like Radio Pani, people like Slailo Rasibocha, Gilberto, I wonder if Dino van Rooyen gets a medal for this one. But all these new faces, I hope this taste that some people like Mofokeng are starting to now get used to, this taste of success, of victory, of conquering. I hope, it creates an appetite, just an appetite for wanting more, to say, we actually love this feeling. We love when after all this preparation for this final, we get to celebrate it. We love this and we want to have more of it. I hope that's what it creates, because that's what it creates for us as the fans. But let me leave it here. Up the Mighty Bucks. I'm happy for you. Celebrate this one. And let's come back a couple of weeks in the in the Betway Premiership, and let's continue to keep the ball rolling. Up the Mighty Bucks. Cheers. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video from Talking Buccaneers. If you did, please hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all our future content.